What's up, y'all? Erroneous here, back with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today's video, I want to go over the events that are going to be happening tomorrow, as well as additional information on confirmation with Leo and the events surrounding Leo. So let's get into it. All right, so first things first. Tomorrow, an event is happening, a 15x progressive, and lo and behold, it's going to be Leonardo in the mix. Okay, Leo is going to be in the mix for Friday for pulling through void shards. All right. Now, progressive chance to get 15x, which you can get up to 25x if you actually pull the legendaries, to some of the champions of your choice from the selected ancient, primal, sacred, and void shards. So, firstly, non-voids. It's going to be Newt, Firol, Ultimate Death Knight, and Mishinaki. Newt and Firol, amazing champions. I actually still don't have a Firol on my accounts. Firol is disgusting for Hydra. Absolutely disgusting. I think he's pretty good in the Chimera as well, if I'm not mistaken. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you have Firol? And do you use him in Chimera? Ultimate Death Knight, Mishinaki, kind of not as great, but they're still both strong in their own sense. The Ultimate Death Knight's great for PvP. Mishinaki is great for Hydra. I think Mishinaki can actually be pretty decent for Chimera as well, because of the HP burn, decreased defense, the decreased attack. The provoke doesn't work on that boss, so that won't really be helpful. But for everything else, that would be nice. Now, you could also put Mishinaki potentially in a Hex set to do even more debuffs on the Chimera boss. If you wanted to try to utilize Mishinaki against the Chimera, he could be halfway decent. But again, if you're trying to go for a Leo in the future, then you're probably not going to want to utilize all of your shards during this event that's going to be happening tomorrow, which is a progressive. Lysanthier Beastbane was a fusion. He is strong in the Hydra. I don't know about Chimera, but Hydra he's strong in, and he's basically just about maybe 3 to 5% weaker than the likes of Thor. Thor is still, I think, better than Lysanthier, but Lysanthier can put in some work. And then for the epics for non-voids, you got Morag Bronzelock, amazing in Curse City, amazing in hard faction wars and normal faction wars, amazing in general PvE. She's pretty decent in PvP early and mid game and some late game, not insane, but she is extremely powerful for the dwarves. Seeker, insane clan boss champion. Early game, mid game, if you're trying to take care of clan boss, try to get Seeker on your team. Duck the Pierce, insane for early game. Hydra, great for PvE, great for the hard mode faction wars and the normal faction wars. Duck the Pierce, you can't go wrong with getting him. Now, of course, again, this all comes down to your resources. Do you even want to spend shards when there's the likes of Leo around the corner in a potential event? So now we're going to go to the voids. We've got Leonardo, who's going to be the #1 pick for everybody if they're actually pulling their void shards. Mostly this event is for spenders. It's not really for the likes of a free-to-play player like myself, or if you're free-to-play or a low spender. This is more so for spenders. Now, Klazag Keyhulk is a newer hero or champion in the game. Who is this guy anyways? Let me just take a quick peek. He looks pretty... Oh, this guy's disgusting. Okay, I remember this guy. This guy's disgusting in Chimera. Yeah, this is definitely a big spender day for progressions. For progressive chance. This is for the spenders. This guy is disgusting for Chimera. I'm not going to go over his full kit or anything like that. You guys can check him out, but he is filthy. And for Hydra, also filthy. I would love to get this guy on my account, but again, I'm holding off. I'm not pulling my voids or my non-void shards for tomorrow. Then we also got Khan Branchbreaker. All right, so right next door is Khan Branchbreaker. So this guy, he was showcased in some videos. He's not as great as people thought he was going to be. He is still strong. He's not bad. He's got a block revive on the A1, attacks on enemies. He does pretty decent damage, but it's not someone I would personally pull my shards for. It would definitely be for Leonardo or Klazag Keyhulk, in my opinion. And then for the epic champions, you're looking at Godseeker Aniri and White Dryad Nia. Godseeker is going to be amazing for Sand Devil. If you have a Godseeker, you can set up a Sand Devil 25 team and make it be a duo team with Marius and her, or with what's his name, Newt. So if you put Newt with Godseeker, that's what I do, a 2-man. It's pretty much perfect. It doesn't fail. Maybe due to a 3% or something, but for the most part, it never fails. So stage 25, Newt, Godseeker, you're good to go. White Dryad Nia is very strong for Hydra, good for progression as well, PvE areas of the game. She's very good for PvP rather, early game and mid game. And other than that, she's not like insane. She's definitely very strong though, because I think that she does have a mechanic where she can decrease cooldown on an enemy. Let's see. So skill cooldowns right here. Removes all debuffs from target ally, heals them if the target's not this champion, decrease the cooldown on all target skills by 2 turns. Very, very strong for an epic champion. So she is pretty good actually for early and mid game progression. She could also be very strong in clan boss, but I'm not really sure how she interacts with other champions. So that's it regarding the progressive chance events. Now let's go on to the Leo events. Let's talk a little bit about this because I'm a little frustrated, right? I know a lot of people are, but I'm not that frustrated. I'm kind of like glass half full on this one, where I did mention in a previous video, it's actually okay that they're pushing off the Leo event. Why? Because now you have more time to save shards than you did before. So try your best to save as much shards as you possibly can. The next thing I want to talk about briefly though is that this Leo event, it's not canceled. They said it's not canceled. They're still going to have a Leo event. This is not the guaranteed event by any means. This progressive is not the guaranteed. So keep that in mind. They will be having a Leo event. They're just not specifying what it's going to be. Okay, they leaked in the past. They posted. Let me just double check. Where is it? All right, so as you can see right here, it does say that the Swordsmith Path event was supposed to be October 7th to the 10th. Leo was supposed to be featured in a Path event for a guaranteed. Now, I'll be a little bit frustrated if they do not do a similar event like they said. Path event, which allows every player in the community to have a shot at getting Leo. Now, you might not be able to get his 5-star soul alongside Leo, but it gives you a shot at getting Leo. This means one of 3 things, right? That I think that I'm speculating that they might do if they're going to shoot us in the foot or shoot themselves in the foot, some might say. If they do one of the 3 things, I would be very upset. Number 1, if they do a guaranteed Leo event that is only void shards, super frustrating because they clearly said a path event. Right, and this isn't like a leak from a player. This is a leak from Plarium themselves. It's not even a leak. They just posted this earlier than they were supposed to have, okay? So all these things were supposed to have happened. And if they change up the event entirely to make it so most players get sanctioned or are unable to get Leo, that's messed up. I'm really hoping that doesn't happen, and I have faith that they're not going to do that. I do think, yes, it should be harder to come by for this champion, and I do think it should require a lot of shards. I don't think it should just be 150 void shards only. I think that would be wrong because they know for a fact the majority of the player base cannot do that. And most, actually all path events have never been just a singular type of shard to pull. It's always been a mix of shards. Number 2, if they make Leo a guaranteed, but it's only through a tournament where you have to get first place out of your bracket in order to get Leo, that would also be extremely messed up because everybody knows there's always that one person that spends a crazy amount of money to get the champion. And if you're a low spender or a free to play, you're out. You won't be able to do it. Now, there's one more thing I want to go over about what they could do. Now, the last thing that could potentially hurt the player base would be putting Leo in a deck of fate rather than in a path event. It could hurt us. Why? Because the deck of fate could just be summoning shards only and not be also a dungeon diver alongside it or potentially upgrading champions as well, like typically a path event would be. Now, they do allow some deck of fates to do multiple things to allow for more points, to flip those cards, but Who knows? They could make it so it's just summoning shards only. In that case, at least let it be a mix of shards and not just specific shards. So that last one out of the three is probably going to be our best option in terms of speculation of an event or tournament they could do for Leo in the future. Now, lastly, I want to go over is they did mention they can't reveal the dates yet, but they did say this campaign runs until November 13th. They'll launch dedicated events up until that date, which means Leo could be at the end of this event, this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle event. They could go all the way until the last week of November and then run the event for 3 days, because typically most path events or any type of event, path or Deck of Fate, is typically 3 to 4 days. Sometimes maybe 5 days. But I don't expect it to be potentially, this is a speculating again, I don't expect it to be another Titan event like they're doing right now, which is for Ace Reporter. And these events typically run for about 2 to 3 weeks. Could they run back-to-back Titan events? Absolutely they could. There's plenty of time left. They could run 2 Titan events. In that case, that would also be a 4th scenario for speculation. All right, so 4 different scenarios that we have here that I'm kind of speculating. I just really don't want it to be the first 2 that I spoke of. If it's the first 2, then most players are going to be screwed, unfortunately. And it's going to upset a lot of people. I really hope it's not that, but like I said in my previous video, you never know. With Plarium, you never know. Okay, but it's just worst when they're the ones that made the mistake. It's worse when they make the mistake, and then if they don't go by their word that they're going to do something, and they make it harder for players when it was going to be easier, that's a problem. That's a problem. Now, I do understand that it's still a company. They need to make money, but I think this is one situation where they kind of have to take this one on the chin. They kind of need to take this one off the chin. Let players get this champion. I really, truly think so. Because it'll make you, one, it'll make you look good as a company. It'll make you look good. You can still milk it. You can still milk the champion. But it's going to make you look so good if you just shake it off the chin. Now, they also mentioned they can't specify what type of event it is, but it will be a way to guarantee obtaining Leonardo. So like I said, all 4 of those ways, those 4 speculations, are all ways that can guarantee Leonardo. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What are your thoughts? What are your speculations? Leave it in the comments down below. I'd love to hear them, and I'll see you on a video soon. Take care.